started sitting in a cross-legged position, just kind of crisscross applesauce like you're in kindergarten. Let your sit bones root down into the ground so you feel like you're heavy in your seat. Even if it means you slouch a little through your trunk, allow everything to be weighted down into the ground, and then leaving that connection with your base. Then lengthen through the spine, sitting up nice and tall. Your eyes can be open or closed. You take a deep breath in through the nose. Sigh it out the mouth. And again, take the breath in and out. Last one. Your fingertips float out to the sides. Your arms are nice and long. Let your arms reach up to the sky as you take the breath all the way in. It helps lengthen the spine. And then as you exhale, go ahead and release. The palms connect to the ground. Even if you round a little through the spine. Inhale, take it all in, get long. Exhale, let it go. And again. Maybe you look upward, and then everything comes down. This time, stay long through the spine as your fingers connect to the earth, staying long through the arms. And let's reach that right arm all the way up and over. And as you're arcing over to the left, it's not about how far you reach, but how long you are while you reach. So from your right sit bone connecting to the earth all the way out through your right fingertips, everything's really long and extended. Breathe in, maybe peek up to the sky. Exhale as you pass through center. Inhaling to the second side, left side body getting long. You might be bending through that right elbow so that you can arc a little more. And then all the way back to center, one time on each side. Let it sway in the wind. And coming to the center, we're going to roll over onto all fours. So your palms are connected, they're shoulder width. Your knees are at least hip width, maybe even a little bit wider. Your back is nice and flat, which means you're not looking forward, kinking the back of the neck either. Your face is down, and it's like you have an eye coming out the crown of the head. Let's slowly take our tail back, keeping that flat back as long as you can. We're reaching towards child's pose, but at a certain point you have to stop because otherwise you'll tuck your tail. So at that stopping point, you slide back forward. 2 more like so, shifting, keeping the back fairly flat. Feeling it into the hip flexors and hips. Last one. And this time, tuck tail, come all the way down. We'll round up like a mad cat, moving like a wave. Reaching back through the tail, long spine. Arching. Rounding up as you release the breath. Inhale as you scoop the spine, reaching the tail back, heart forward. And you move in this wave-like way, breathing as you move, moving as you breathe. Last one, finding some fluidity in your spine. The next time you come to all fours, you find that flat back once more. Tucking your toes under, we're gonna lift our knees, and we're only gonna lift them about 1 inch or 2 off the ground. So they're hovering. Your palms are spread like a snowshoe, so you're not jamming up all that weight in your wrist, but rather using the whole hand. You're breathing whole breaths. You're not angry about the effort it takes to be here. You just use the strength in the body. Your core turns on. Last breath. Your tail reaches to the sky. You might reach the hands forward a few inches. And you get long through the spine and as long as you can through the legs. So the goal is not to have totally straight legs. First comes the length through the spine. And then as we warm up, we'll get longer and longer through the legs. Down dog. Still breathing those whole breaths. They come all the way in through the nose and all the way out. And let's start to tippy-toe our toes towards our fingers. Don't go too fast. Try to keep your legs straight. If you have to, you bend the knees. But we take the weight into the arms as we place the feet up by the hands. Hang the head down. A nice generous bend in the knees so that we're soft on our low back. Hang the head, hang the arms. And slowly begin to roll up towards standing. Your knees remain bent. And at the very top, our shoulders stack, our head stacks, our arms reach out like wings, taking breath in. And then drawing towards heart center like a magnet. Maybe your face bows. And you pause. Inhale, take the breath in. Exhale, diving down, hinging at the waist, which means it feels like you're sticking your butt out. And then fold all the way down. Your legs are as straight as they can be. Pausing here. Roll all the way up. We're about to jump into some movement, so we're preparing the body. Inhale. As the palms drop down to heart center, we'll begin our flow. Inhale, take it in. Exhale, dive it down. The inhalation brings us halfway up. Flat back. Exhale, releasing. We come into plank. Our feet step back. Our palms are underneath our shoulders. And we're going to lower down through chaturanga. So we shift the weight forward a little bit. And we lower down with our elbows tucked in tight, grazing our sides. And then inhale, come up. Up dog, pulling the heart forward. Broad through the collarbones. And then reach our tail back, down dog. 3 big breaths here. Long through the spine. Maybe it helps to take a big breath in through the nose, sigh it out through the mouth. And tippy toe the toes to meet the fingers again. When you get to the forward fold, Uttanasana, we're going to inhale halfway up long through the spine. Exhale, folding deeply, bowing. And then inhale this time, arms open like wings, rise through a flat back. Use your strong legs to come all the way up to standing. Your palms connect and drop down to heart center. And we do it again. Inhale, take in the breath. Exhale, fold, bow deeply. Inhale, rise the trunk up halfway. Exhale, release. Palms connect, feet step back. You find that top of the plank and lower really slowly. Chaturanga. Inhale, open the heart. Upward facing dog. And then take it back, down dog. You find your breath here. This is like home base in down dog. This is an intentionally really verbal practice. That way you don't have to look up too much. You'll hear so many cues, you'll know where you're going and how you're going to get there. Take one more whole breath all the way in. Sigh it out. And then shifting the weight forward into plank, we're going to bring our right knee towards our nose. Rounding through the upper back. Try to bring the nose as close to the knee as you can by tucking it in tight with your belly. And then inhale, reach it back, one-legged dog. That right leg reaches back as far as it can. It's like an extension of your long spine. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, take it back. So it's a slow movement. It's timed with your breath. Exhale, bring it forward, this time to the outside, to your right shoulder. Inhale, take it all the way back. This time crossing over to your left elbow. Slide it in. Take it all the way back. Big breath in. Last one, right to the nose. And all the way back on an inhalation. The leg reaches back. Go ahead and let your right hip kick open, pressing extra through your right palm to ground you. Maybe you bend your right knee, reaching through your toes. And then centering everything out. Go ahead and step your right foot up between your hands. You find this full lunge, this runner's lunge. Your left heel is driving back while the crown of your head is reaching forward. Your fingertips are really light here. They might be on the floor, they might be hovering here, but you're very much engaged in your legs. Let's go ahead and bring it upright, yeah? All the way up. Let's tuck our tail under, so we're coming into a lunge position. We're tucking our whole pelvic bowl underneath us, yeah? We're bending that back left knee, and we're using both of our legs. Let's bring our arms up for a moment, so there's a little lightness in the upper half, some length. Our legs are turned on. We're starting to feel the strength in not only our left quad, but all through the glute on the right side as well. It's kind of like a single-legged squat. Inhale. Maybe get long through the back leg. There's an arch that happens. You can take the gaze upward. And then all the way down to the ground. The palms connect. That left heel's reaching back. Left palm grounds into the ground. And we rotate that right arm, but more importantly, those right ribs to the sky. Breathe. Notice if you started taking shorter breaths, elongate them. You're grounding down through that left arm. You really feel stable. The hand is placed directly under the shoulder. You might even gaze upward, puffing the chest a little, and rotate back to center. Palms connect, right foot steps back. You're in that plank position. You can flow through chaturanga, up dog to down dog. Breathing. Shifting the weight forward, left knee comes in to touch the nose or close. Inhale brings it back, stretch long through the belly. Exhale, bring it in. Stretch long through the belly. Use your breath, take your time. Left knee, left shoulder. Inhale, take it back. Spread through your toes, and then shifting forward, left knee, right elbow. Take it back. Last one comes center. Knee to nose. Opening all the way back. Inhale, stretch through that leg. Let it be an extension of the spine. And then kicking the hip open. You stack left hip on right. You may or may not bend the left knee, stretching through the front of the leg. Ground extra by pressing through the left palm. And then centering everything out, you step that left foot up between the hands. Finding your runner's lunge here, the fingertips might be floating, they might be placed down, you might have them up on blocks, but you've engaged the legs, you're reaching back through that right heel, crown of the head is reaching forward, and you're breathing. We're gonna come up into crescent. You might step your toes up an inch or two like I do. Bend your back knee and tuck that whole pelvic bowl underneath you. You're very stable and even. That front knee is not rolling in, it's rolling a little bit externally, in fact. As you lower into this shape, both legs are firing on, your arms reach up to the sky, and you breathe. Strong legs, strong body, strong human. shifting the weight up to the sky through the heart. Press the back heel back, lengthen through the spine, arch, folding forward. Your right palm grounds down as your left ribs and your left arm reach up to the sky, revolving. Keep reaching through that back right heel. Maybe gaze upward, puff your chest. Roll it all back to center, connect the palms, step that left foot back, and you roll through your vinyasa. Chaturanga to up dog, reaching the tail back to down dog. Take a big breath in, sigh it out through the mouth. Your right foot steps up. As your right foot steps up into the lunge, we immediately bend the back knee, coming into our, I think of it as like an athletic lunge position, right? Like you're gonna tap your knee down, but it hovers. And so from here, we're gonna take opposite arms. So my right leg's forward, my left arm is forward, and my right arm is back. And it's almost as though I'm gonna go somewhere. I'm gonna launch off that back foot because I am, but we're gonna do it in slow motion. So this is my exhalation. As I inhale, I'm gonna shift the weight onto the right leg. Inhale, kick the foot forward. Exhale, softly land back down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And so you move. One more time. The next one, pause up. The left leg extends. You hold it there as long as you can. You can bring your arms up to the sky. Let it lower slowly, a little bit of a burn. Inhale, look up. Exhale, hinge at the hip, dive down. Inhale, lift up through the heart. Long spine. Folding, the hands connect. Step the feet back, one then the other. Lowering through your vinyasa. Finding your way to down dog. You breathe smooth, full breaths. And we step the left foot up. Left foot comes just shy of the hands. Automatically bend that right knee under, tucking in that pelvic bowl. Feel your legs, yeah? I like to kind of rise up and down. I don't want to call it a bounce, but sort of. Feel like you're gonna go somewhere on those legs. Bring in the arms, right arm up, left arm back. I kind of mimic the shape of the legs, it's what I do. Your arms can look how your arms look. Shift the weight onto the left leg and kick the right leg out and back. We're not flinging it, we're extending it. Exhale, inhale. Last one, extend the right leg, try to hold it out. Arms come to the sky. Keep it out as long as you can and slowly start to lower. Inhale, look up. Exhale, fold down. Lifting halfway. Release. Let's stay here and hang in our fold. See how straight we can make our legs? So maybe eliminating some of the bend or all of the bend. Shake your head no, softly. Shake your head yes. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, releasing. Stepping back into your vinyasa. Lowering, opening the heart. Taking the tail back. We'll change it up and step the left foot forward first. This time we're going to pivot our right foot, warrior style it's called, and lift on up for Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. So in that shape, we bend our left knee a lot. Our back foot is at about a 45-degree angle, and what's important is we're sealing the back edge of the foot down to the earth, and we sink low. So we're not just shifting the weight forward, that would be really bad for our knee. We're sinking low, using both legs equally, like we're stretching the mat long. Our arms extend out to mimic the legs, and our eyes gaze out past those left fingertips. We're breathing deeply, all the way in and all the way out. You can glance down at this front left knee and make sure it's not rolling in. It's externally rotating out a little bit, tracing over the center toe. Sink lower, breathe in and out. And then getting long through the front leg. Reach forward with those left fingers, but it shifts the entire trunk, like someone's dangling something in front of you and you want to grab it. And then release to the earth into triangle pose. So everyone's hand is going to land in a different place. Maybe you're on your shin, maybe you're on the floor, maybe you have a block your hand is resting on, but our arms are extending and lengthening. Continue to breathe. You can feel your right ribs rolling to the sky, and it's totally okay to touch yourself. Grab your ribs and roll them up to the sky. That also opens up through our collarbone, our right shoulder, and then extend the arm up. Maybe even gaze up, test your balance. And then everything folds down and in into what we call a pyramid pose. So as we fold over the left leg, your right hip rolls down as well. Our hips even out. It's a shape of surrender. You round the trunk. You breathe deeply. One more breath here. Bending the left knee, you pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Connect your palms. We're going to step back in to that plank pose. From here, we're going to rotate onto our left palm. And you can either stack the feet, or you can keep them separated for a little more stability. Right arm up to the sky, side plank. You can look down to the earth. You can look straight ahead, maybe up. But you don't stop breathing. Can you be strong and still breathe smooth? Can you be okay with hard? Rolling to center, connecting the hands. You find plank, move through the vinyasa, lower chaturanga, open heart, tail to the sky. Big old reset breath, take it in through the nose, sigh it out the mouth. Your right foot's gonna step up between the hands. And so as you step up into your warrior two, right foot forward, and you pivot the left foot. I'm gonna flip sides so I'm with you. You're gonna sink low again, yeah? So really important that you're not just taking the weight into that right knee, but rather spreading it long. Use both legs. Sinking in, it's okay again to touch yourself. Maybe you tuck that pelvic bowl under. And we zip up what I like to call the internal fly. So if you think about where your belly button is and where your pubic button is, your pubic bone, sorry, it's not a button, bring those 2 points closer to each other, yeah? So really truly zip up the internal fly, arms get long, spread it out, and sink down. Commit to the shape. Whole breaths, no half breathing. Get long through the front leg. Reach out past the right toes like something's out there, and then release that right arm down to the ground or to the leg. Left arm, but more importantly, left ribs rolling to the sky. You find that shape and you settle in. Can you be here and breathe whole breaths? Staying present and focused. That last breath in, maybe you gaze upward, testing balance. And releasing. As you fold that left arm down, we're also folding that left hip down so that we're folding into a surrendering shape of pyramid. Rounding through the trunk, bowing down. If your front right leg doesn't go totally straight, it's okay if there's a micro bend in the knee, as long as you're feeling that stretch through the back of the hamstring. Last whole breath, make it big. Sigh it out with a sound. Start to bend through the front knee. You pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Hands connect, and as you step that right foot back, you find yourself in plank. We roll to the right hand. Make sure, again, hand is directly under shoulder, and extend the arm up. Breathe. Lift your hips as high as you can. Maybe gaze up and rotate to center. You find that plank shape, shift forward, going through the vinyasa to down dog. Let's shift our weight back to plank, this time lowering all the way down onto our bellies. Let's come into what's called Sphinx pose. So our elbows are directly underneath our shoulders and our forearms extend out. And they're not useless. We're not like kicking back at the beach reading a magazine, right? We're using our forearms to help keep us nice and upright. And so with that length we can pull from our forearms, we get longer through the spine. Our heart is reaching forward. Yes? Tops of the feet press into the earth, pubic bone presses into the earth, and our spine gets long. We're gonna bend our right knee. Yeah? And with our right arm, we're gonna reach the forearm across. So we're kind of tickling our right fingers on our left thumb. That way we can use this right forearm for support. You support yourself with the right forearm and reach back with your left hand, possibly grabbing your right foot. Press the foot into the hand so you get even longer as you arch back. Breathe. Only if this is in the realm of comfort is it something you approach. Otherwise, stay in Sphinx. Releasing the foot, it controls down. Lower onto the belly for a moment. Use your hands like a pillow. Shake your tail side to side. Release. Back up to Sphinx. Same movement, but it's a whole new side with a whole new story. So move slow, see what it's like. Left hand crosses to the right. We bend the left knee, and our right arm reaches around, taking hold. Let the legs stay on the left side. It's the right arm that crosses to the left side of the body. Rolling that right shoulder open as you create a long arch. Press the foot into the hand a little bit. Breathe a lot. Release it, it's a controlled release. Roll down onto the belly, your hands pull back, chaturanga, ready for your push-up. Your face is hovering, your toes tuck under, and you press, lifting up like a board. Tail back, down dog. Long spine, loose tail. Let your hips sway from left to right. Like a lot, like it's kind of dipping past the line of your mat. Take your time, sway your hips, and breathe. Your left knee pulls forward as you shift towards plank, and this time it's to come into pigeon. And as you settle the body into this shape, I want to make sure that your left hip is landing on something. So if it's not landing on the earth, I want you to roll up maybe like a beach towel or a pillow and sit your tush on it. Because if we're hovering through the tush, we're bringing weight into the knee, and we're going to tweak it. This is not good. We want weight seated on your left hip. We lower the trunk of the body, extend long through the right leg. If you want a little more, you press into the top of the foot, lifting the right knee. For me, it's important to release the body into a shape that has such a big stretch in the hip. So I like to soften everything around it, find a place to rest my head. Take long, slow breaths. And this is where the practice becomes very internal. Can you listen to the language that the body speaks? Do you understand your own language? All these sensations, these feelings that arise in the body are speaking to you. And when we learn this language, we learn about ourselves. We form this intimate, knowing relationship with our own bodies, with our own selves. But you have to be quiet enough to listen. Inhale, coming up, get long through the spine as you lift through the torso. An arch is happening. Maybe come onto the fingertips. And then releasing forward, bend the elbows, tuck the back toe, press the trunk up so you're in plank. This left leg is out of place. Put it where it goes. It might feel a little funny. Shift back to down dog. Take your feet as wide as the mat. Lift the hips. Dip your chest towards the mat. So this time we're making a big arch with our back. Like you're dipping your armpits towards the mat. Maybe your head even touches. And then shifting forward. Feet go hip distance. And as you shift towards plank, your right knee pulls forward. You're on the top of your left foot. You're getting long through the spine as you come forward. And you find somewhere for your head to rest. You can stack your fists. You can roll up a blanket. And you settle into the quiet. Can it be enough to breathe in and breathe out? Breathe in and breathe out. Gravity is your best friend here. The heavier you allow your body to be, the opening will then happen for you if you can soften. Your palms come underneath your shoulders, maybe it's your fingertips, as you get long through the spine, visiting the arch. As long as your low back is happy with your decision. And then coming back, palms connect, left toes tuck, and you come back into down dog. Feel the difference in the right leg as you get long through the spine. Let's shift into plank, moving through one last vinyasa. Tail to the sky. And this time we're going to tippy toe our toes forward, but I want your butt to get really, really low, like you're crawling through a little hole. Yeah. And so you come into this little tiny squat, Malasana. And your heels, they might not touch the floor. If they do, great, you can sit upright like so. If they don't, and you can't get them to the earth, just leave your fingers forward. Pause. Intentionally sit your tail down, so rather than falling, place your butt on the floor. And then in the center of your mat, we're going to lean back, holding on to the backs of the thighs. Long arms. Now don't let your arms like reach out of socket. Pull your shoulder into placement. Yeah? So your shoulders are a part of your trunk. We're lifting our legs up and starting with a bend in the knees. Your back is not rounded. Your back is flat. You can keep the legs like so, or you could extend them. You could keep the arms like so, or you could grab your toes. And we pause here in Navasana, the boat pose. Breathing. Maybe release the arms. Last couple breaths. This time, as we bend our knees and come into our squat, I want you to take a nice wide squat. So your feet are at least hip distance, but probably wider, like as wide as your mat. And as you come nice and wide, I want you to come into your squat, like so. Yeah, so go ahead and sit back down, try it a couple times. If you need to use a hand behind you, you're not cheating, you won't lose a point, but try to make it like just fingers or one finger, yeah? You come onto the feet, into the squat, and back down. A couple more times, using the mobility in your hips. Yeah? In your squat, let's rise all the way up. Your toes are out, your knees are out. It's a proper squat, all the way to standing. Big breath in, and all the way back down to your seat. You set your tail down, and let's go ahead and cross our legs for our twist. Your left leg will go on the bottom, it's bent. Your right foot is gonna come on the opposite side of your left knee. And we don't want this right tush floating. Ground down through that right sit bone, yes? Sit up nice and tall. And then that right hand is gonna reach behind you. It's like a pillar to help keep you straight. And your left hand can hold on to the right knee as you rotate your heart around. Breathing in. If it's within your range, you could use the outside of the leg with your elbow. But the goal is not to twist us into this tight little pretzel we can't breathe in. The goal is to come to a twist that we can still take whole breaths in. Yeah? Maybe gaze out past your right shoulder. And then rolling it back to center. We're gonna change sides, yeah? There's a fun way to do so why not have a little bit of fun? Listen to my words. You're gonna take your right hand and reach all the way over to your left side. When you do, you're gonna lift your butt into the air, climbing past all fours and switching out your legs. If you got all tangled up, just sit down. Now your right leg is tucked in, your left foot is stepped on the outside of your right knee, and you're grounding down through your left sit bone. Sit up nice and tall. We're twisting to the opposite side. So you take your left hand behind you like a pillar, your right arm grabs onto that left leg, and you roll your heart open to the left. You might gaze out over your left shoulder. Back to center, and as you unwind your legs, your feet are going to come hip distance or a tiny bit wider. Your palms are going to come behind you, and they're about shoulder width. Your fingers are likely ducked out to the sides, and we're going to lift our hips to a reverse table. Your face looks up to the sky. You press through the hands as much as you do the feet, and breathe. Lowering your tail, come all the way down. If your shoulders were happy about that, we're gonna do 2 more, and we're gonna do it one on right arm, one on left arm, yeah? So as we come up this time, your right arm grounds down and your left hand reaches to the sky. So you lift up into the arch. You can twist your fingers if it works for you. You can reach all the way up and over, and then sit all the way down. Changing sides, left hand down, right hand up, lift the tail. Reach up and over. softly come down. Let's extend both legs out in front of us, finishing our seated sequence with a forward fold. Your legs come all the way extended out. If you know you have super tight hamstrings, I encourage you to roll a towel and throw it under your knees so that you give yourself permission from the get-go to bend your knees. As long as you feel it in the backs of the legs, you're doing it right. Sit up nice and tall, hinging forward. We're gonna pause when you can no longer fold with a flat back. I promise we'll round in a minute, but start here with a flat back. And if that means you're only hinging 10 degrees, so be it. You're breathing whole breaths. It takes a certain amount of integrity through your center to maintain the posture here. You can even take the hands behind you. And then when you are ready, let's go ahead and soften this shape by draping the body out and over the legs. Your palms are face up. Maybe you touch the feet, but you softly fold into the shape. You soften the rough edges of your breath. Noticing that when you inhale, you get a little bit longer, and when you exhale, you fold just a tiny bit deeper. Roll all the way up to your seat, bending your knees. We're going to roll all the way onto our backs, coming towards the end of our practice. Roll on down. Pull your knees into your chest. Rock side to side in your tiny little tuck. Feel the massage where your kidneys set. And then reaching the soles of your feet up to the sky, and then opening the legs wide like a straddle. It's like we're swimming. Bend your knees, pull the legs in. Reach the soles of the feet up to the sky. So you're painting a big circle with both of your heels. Opening and closing. Change direction with your circle, drawing in and down and open. In and down and open. The next time that you come in, let's go to what's called happy baby. So we open the legs wide. It's like a squat, but we're on our backs, sort of. Take your hands, your arms come inside your knees, but outside your feet. And when you do so, a lot of times people's butt lift way up in the air. Glue your tailbone down to the earth, or at least let it reach that way. Soles of your feet are straight up to the sky. Last breath. Releasing everything. Bend your knees. We're going to take a soft twist before our final rest. We're going to take both feet close together, and we're going to roll our knees over to the left, reaching our arms open like a T. Our palms are lifted to the sky. And so when you roll your knees over to the side, they can be stacked one on top of the other, or you can get long through your right leg, so your toes are reaching away from the trunk of the body. Your face is rolled gently towards your right hand. And you take big breaths into your belly like it's filling like a balloon, and releasing. 2 more. Rolling back to center, last side. Your feet are in the middle. They're right next to each other as your knees roll over to the right. They're stacked, one on top of the other. Maybe you get long through your left leg. And then your right shoulder reaches towards the earth. Both arms are out like a T. You might look over the left hand, but you're breathing into your belly. It's expanding like a balloon as you take the breath in and out. Can you maintain a quiet internally so that not only is the body softening, but so is the mind? You roll back to the center, coming into what we call Shavasana or corpse pose. You extend long through all 4 limbs, settling into the ground. You allow the weight of your body to completely sink into the earth. Let's take a couple cleansing breaths here, breathing in through the nose and sighing through the mouth. In this final relaxation shape, you get to let go. Completely let go. Every muscle in your body relaxes, and you allow the weight of the body to completely surrender to the earth beneath it. You feel the breath coming in and out, but you are no longer the one doing the breathing. And you drift somewhere between awake and asleep, both releasing and receiving all at the same time. Stay here as long as you'd like. Thank you for working hard and practicing with me today. Namaste.